Okay, so I love a Mountain Blade to a Bannerlord as much as the next guy, and I try and stay away from doing these type of videos because people always say I complain far too much. So generally I try to keep my opinions on these things to myself. However, this is something that has just really infuriated me and is something that just needs to change, because realistically, with the current state of the game, this is just not acceptable and we need an improvement to this feature. And some of you may have already guessed that this is the launcher. The launcher at this current point is just not up to scratch whatsoever. So basically what I thought I would do today is just kind of bring up my opinions on the matter. If you guys don't care about this, then feel free just to move on to the next video. But let me know if this is something that you would like to see added or improved on in the future. And again, let me know if you think this is currently completely acceptable and doesn't need to change. It would just be a waste of time to do so. I'm interested to kind of gauge the community thoughts on this. So yes, basically right here we have the current mount and blade launcher. First things first, why can't I full screen this? Like, the fact that it is just this small is just really annoying and frustrating, and just seems like it would be so easy to make a button that to allow me to full screen this. I will also as well, after we've kind of gone through my thoughts on the launcher itself, look at an actual good mod launcher, and that is the Paradox style. It does have some problems, but for the most part I think it is one of the best ones out there. This is very similar, what we've got right now in the Bannerlord one, to the actual Total War one as well, and it's just really annoying. So yeah, the lack of the ability to full screen this and look at stuff in greater detail is really frustrating, and I feel like it would be a simple fix. Next we have the actual mods themselves. So if we go over right now, again, a full screen button would be a godsend right here, because I'd actually be able to see a lot of my mods without having to scroll and then move them. It would just be so much nicer to be able to click that right there. But okay, we don't have that. That is absolutely fine. Next we move on to the fact that I have and again, I probably have, I don't know, I'd like to think that I do have quite a few mods on in my selection. This mod list is about 30 mods deep. But I know many people go even further beyond that, and they go ahead and surpass the limits and add, tons, 50, 60 mod lists. I've seen some people with over 100 mods in one list, and currently what we have is it's impossible to manage, especially for someone like me who jumps around certain games and certain mods and campaigns. It's really hard to manage, because some mods I would like to have some of these on, and then other ones I'd like to turn them off, and it becomes really frustrating to actually manage it. So I don't really see the reason why we can't go ahead and have the ability to make mod lists in this launcher. The ability to actually go ahead and group a bunch of mods together and say, okay, I want to play with the Trials of the 7 mod list, and then it will go ahead and search for the mods that are in that mod list and be like, okay, we're just going to activate these ones and then move on. And then you could quite easily switch between that mod list to an Eagle Rising mod list, and then the mod launcher will be like, okay, you've now switched to the Eagle Rising mod list. We'll go ahead and select I'll put on the mods that you've put in that mod list. And I think, oh my god, that would just go such a long way for giving people the ability to move on and play multiple different campaigns at the same time. Because right now it is just such a faff, because I have to think about, oh, okay, I have these mods on, but I know that current radio faction doesn't work with the old realms, so I have to make sure I remember to turn that off, and then I'll load the game up and then try and load a save and be like, oh no, I've accidentally forgot the distinguished service mod doesn't actually work with this one. And yeah, it just becomes really frustrating. So I feel like these two fixes could be so simple to the game. The ability to full screen this so I can better manage. Also, this is really frustrating to do when I'm having to do a load order as well. Again, being able to full screen this, being able to maybe set numbers for what this is, the ability to import load orders as well would be insanely useful, whether that's used through a text file or whatever, being able to be like, okay, I just click a button and click import and then load a file into this load launcher, and it would go ahead and arrange the mods in the appropriate load launcher. That would be amazing. And I can completely understand why the mod launcher kind of is the way it is. One, it was made 2 years ago when the main focus of the game wasn't on mods or anything along them lines. It was just about getting the game up to scratch so they could release it. But also, this is still reminiscent of the old days of Warband, where we had these huge, massive overhaul mods where you wouldn't have to go ahead and have a mod list of 20, 30, 40 mods. It would just be, okay, I'm going to turn on Prophecy of Pendor, jump in and have some fun, and that's all you need to do. And that's just not the case with Bannerlord. A lot of people love playing vanilla, where they go ahead and adjust these small things that they really want to go ahead and change. And honestly, we're not going to be getting these big overhaul mods until a couple years. And even when they do release, I still feel like I'm going to be adding and putting on sub mods and adjusting features that I would like to see in them big overhaul mods. So I feel like the overall feel of Bannerlord modding is just so different to Warband, and we need a better launcher to go ahead and represent that. Now, this was a really good example of a mod launcher that I actually loved in its entirety. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work anymore since I believe 1.8. Some of the files you can see right here are all messed up, and you'd have to go into these and actually adjust them. Also, I don't think it registers the actual Steam Workshop mod files now, so when you're messing around with that, it can be really frustrating. But this was a great example. You could go ahead and configure load orders with text files. So again, you could have certain mod lists. Again, it'd be nice to have like tabs of a mod list, but again, you know, it's fine. This is a mod load launcher. You could go ahead and adjust stuff really easily. You could sort the mods themselves, and just the fact that this is full screen gave me the complete ability just to drag and drop them where I wanted them to be, which is really nice than having to, if we go back to the Bannerlord launcher, it makes it so much nicer than having to, you know, just quickly go ahead and scroll down, be like, oh, okay, there's that mod, and then I have to scroll up and then make kind of like finically put it, whereas this was just so much easier to go ahead and adjust it. And as I said, this is a great example of it. It's a real shame it doesn't work anymore, but I would love to see something more like this actually as the mod launcher. And then finally, let's go ahead and take a look at something that again is a good example of a launcher to a game. This is the Paradox one. It's the same for pretty much every one of their more modern titles, and it's super good. So yeah, right now you have the homepage, which just gives you news on it. It gives you the DLCs if you want to go ahead and turn on and off DLCs. Again, not really that important for Bannerlord at the moment. You have your playsets, so these are going to be all the different kind of mod lists you have. So for example, I've got a CMH1 one, and I've got like a larger mod list that adds them all in. I've got you know, just another mod list right here, just numbering in. And these are just lists that I've created, you know, from the mods. I've taken other people's from the workshop and gone ahead and adjusted them, and it's really nice. And one of the other like amazing things is I can go ahead and just go and import a playset as well. So again, this allows me to go ahead and grab someone else's load order for the mod they've suggested and just import it, and it will arrange them in the perfect manner to make it work, which is super nice. You can also see all the mods you have here as well. So if you want to delete stuff, it's really easy to do so, and you can even adjust the game settings as well from the launcher. So honestly, I think the Paradox launcher is ideally kind of the way forward, and I would just love to see it change. Again, I don't really want to be like overly negative about the game and stuff, but it's just something that's really annoyed me, because something I've had to do currently actually in my games is I've had to go ahead and started making different module folders for playlists. So for example, here's a Realm Forgotten mod list that I'm going to be making a video on, but I don't want to stick it in here because I don't want to cluster this. I've also had to go ahead and started making groups in this. So this, like, these are all my Trials of the Seven files, and I'll export them out here. So I'll go ahead and drag and drop them into my modules later on, and it's just a massive faff, and it is really frustrating to mess around with. And again, I could be the only person who gets this annoyed, you guys, because it will say, Jackie, you're overreacting, we don't care, this is fine. But I think if this is an issue that you guys do resonate with, it would be really cool to go ahead and come together and show Tail Worlds that this is something we would love to see improved, whether it is in the next couple of months or in 6 months time, or maybe when the first DLC drops for the game. I don't know, it's just something that's really annoying, and maybe even some modders out there can go ahead and see this and be like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea, I'm going to invest some time in it if the community wants to see that. So that's kind of why I'm just making this video, to basically show you guys that this is something that I personally find frustrating. It'll be interesting to see if you guys do, and if it is a big enough problem, maybe someone from a community can come in clutch with a new mod launcher, or Tail Worlds themselves and see that this is a problem and it's something that needs to be changed. Or you guys could say I'm just a entitled idiot and this isn't a problem whatsoever. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be interested to read all your comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.